following gameplay commentary is rated X for extreme. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on, guys? Samson here, bringing you my first impressions of the newly released WWE 2K16, coming off of the rather disappointing WWE 2K15. There was a lot riding on this release. I know I personally kind of came in with mixed feelings. I didn't really know if it was going to be, improved or if it was still going to be lacking, but just suffice to say, I'm fairly impressed. This is definitely a much better game than we had last year. It is more complete, let's say that. But let's get into it. Let's get into these impressions. So I'm going to start off just by talking about the graphics a little bit. Overall, right across the bar, graphics have been improved. You're going to see a little bit more sharper textures. You're going to see little nooks, little crannies, bumps on the apron, textures of the ropes. All of the textures have just been improved. Definitely looks a little bit more high definition, more next gen. So that is definitely a good thing. The character models, a little bit more detailed, look a little bit more lifelike. We got a lot more going on as far as beards and hairstyles, and tattoos look accurate. Things like the beads of sweat and, the way the light glistens off of the sweat. Things like this just really make the graphics pop. And it's just, it just feels so much better this year. Like last year, it looked pretty good, but things kind of looked a little fake, I guess you could say. They looked a little plasticky. Sometimes it was like you were looking at an action figure. But this year, things feel a little bit more real. It feels like there's texture to the skin, and like I said, just the sweat dripping, the individual hairs, things like that. Just lots more detail, just better textures overall across the board. So very impressed with the textures. I gotta say, the cloth physics. You wouldn't think that cloth physics would really add that much, but my oh my, does it just, it makes it feel much more realistic. During the animations in the entrances, beautiful, like when you see John Cena running down to the ring and his shirt is flowing in the wind, or Finn Balor's little strands, as you see on his arms here during his entrance and hanging off of his little whatever head dress thing there. But cloth physics definitely add something, make the character models just feel more realistic, look a little bit more lifelike. So that is awesome. The lighting, in my personal opinion, looks much better than last year. Dynamic lighting seems to affect, just the way the arenas look, the way your character model looks. Lighting definitely adds to it. Looks next gen this year. Definitely dynamic lighting really adds something to any game. Wrestling is no different. But in this year, the lighting is fantastic. It adds character to the entrances, because we know in wrestling, entrances are a life of their own, and it feels great. Everybody's got their own kind of lighting. It's still kind of limited. I wish there was more options. But overall, Triple H's entrance looks amazing. The light flashes, and Finn Balor's lights look awesome, and the spotlights look great. The shadows on the characters, everything looks great there. The smoke and pyro have been improved, so the smoke physics actually flows a little bit more realistically. The pyro, once again, flows a little bit more realistically. The spark and particle effects are definitely popping in this year's version. Arenas, like I said, definitely helped by the new textures and the lighting effects, because they're looking pretty good. Some of the stages still feel a little static, I guess you could say. I really wish there was just more interaction in the stages. The stages just, I don't know, a lot of work could still be done there. But overall, the arenas feel great, and then when you top in the extra textures, the improved textures, the improved lighting, there's just a lot of atmosphere in the arenas. They've got all the proper Minitrons and Titantrons and all that stuff. So you got the Tron on the ring, and all that stuff definitely adds to the feel. Makes it more like that WWE presentation that we're all used to watching every week live on the WWE network. And along from that, the crowd is something that was definitely improved last year. We saw people walking around in the crowd. This year, continued improvements. You still have the people making their way through the crowd and walking around, but you see a lot less duplicate animations, a lot more individual kind of characteristics in the crowd, which I think just, once again, makes it feel a little bit more realistic. So that's good. Crowd is improved. You're going to see little kids in the crowd now, which is, staple in WWE thanks to that PG nature. But kids in the crowd, overall the crowd, it looks good because it's showcased a lot in WWE 2K16. And because of that, the presentation is top notch in this game in WWE 2K16. Like, if you're a fan of WWE, you know that they are the masters when it comes to presentation. They can make anything look good. It's just what they do. They've got the camera angles, with the pyro and the smoke and everything. They just know how to make the feeling of being in that arena and feeling the energy of the crowd and everything. They know how to do it. And I gotta say that 2K, they're learning from the WWE there, because the crowd, the no loading screens during the entrances, so you got a shot of your wrestler when he completes his entrance, and then the lighting changes, and you can hear the music. It makes it seem like you're watching WWE television, and it's great. It's great to see that they're actually kind of taking a cue from the WWE, because like I said, these guys are masters. So you're going to see a lot of crowd shots and pans. The pre-match presentation is, immaculate. You got, the ring announcers calling you in. Everything feels good. The camera has been improved dramatically during the entrances. It's definitely got, upped production values. In my personal opinion, it looks good, a lot more up close and personal, which is a definite need when it comes to the next gen. On like 360 and the PS3, we're always zoomed out a little bit, but on next gen, during the entrances, we're getting up close, we're getting good views of the character models, so that feels really good. Now moving on into the sound department, entrances, they're all booming, they all sound great. It's always sounded great. Like, I don't think we've ever really had a problem with entrance sound effects or anything like that in any of the WWE games, so continue to sound great there. It's good to hear some classic themes, like the roster in this year's game is spread out. You got people from classic era to the Attitude Era, to superstars of today. So it's great to have all those old theme songs that you kind of forgot about. They get refreshed in your mind, so it's great to hear those. They've added a lot of wrestler voices into the game, so during the taunts and entrances, you get the Sheamus yelling "fella" and all that stuff, Paige's screams and things like that. There are some character voices that are shamefully missing, like Kevin Owens. I would love to hear Kevin Owens talking to Michael Cole during his matches, but we don't get any Kevin Owens voiceovers or anything like that. But they did fill it out, so you're going to hear a lot more from the superstars this year, so that's definitely cool. The three-man commentary is actually pretty good. Like, I won't lie. The commentary has always kind of been the sour spot for WWE games, but this year's three-man commentary, it actually feels pretty good. Like, there's less interruptions, they're finishing their sentences, which is something that has been like a huge problem in the past games. They'd start saying something, but then you'd do a move in the match, and then all of a sudden they're like interrupted their sentence and they're talking about something else, and it just made the commentary seem just really jaggy and cut together. But this year, it actually feels pretty good. Like, they're finishing their thoughts, And when it comes to their thoughts, like they're giving out like statistics, and they're talking about move sets and different facts about the wrestlers and things like that. So it actually feels pretty good. It's kind of refreshing. I'm not saying it's perfect. There's still some repeated comments and things like that. But overall, it is getting better. They are making improvements. So, no complaints there. The sound effects for the moves and everything, great. Like, you can hear the difference of the people hitting the ropes and the way the mat sounds for the different moves. Like, high impact moves really have that big crunch. And it just seems like they've re-recorded a lot of their, just normal sound effects for the matches. The crowd is really booming, really popping in 2K16. You're going to hear a lot of boos, a lot of cheers. Great new chants have been introduced. You even get to hear, like, it almost seems like there's individual voices. Sometimes you can hear, like, specific people talking in the crowd, yelling at your wrestler and things like that. So definitely adds to that presentation and that like, flavor, that feeling that you get when you're watching WWE, or if you've seen a live WWE event. It just makes it feel that all the more realistic. Moving on to features, all your fave match types and everything are still here, so that's good. No real big omissions. If you want to do Fatal 4-Way, you can do Fatal 4-Way, Extreme Rules, and table matches. They're all here. Unfortunately, there's still no custom matches, which is something that's, I'm kind of sad to see. It was a feature that I really loved in like 2K14. Was custom matches, being able to have like a submissions only Hell in a Cell match, or a Fatal 4-Way Extreme Rules elimination match, things like that. Was really awesome. So it's kind of sad that we don't have those options here in 2K16. Who knows, maybe next year. Along those lines, there's no specialty matches in this, so don't expect any casket matches or buried alive or ambulance matches or stretcher matches. None of that in here. It's keep it to the basics, stuff you're gonna see on TV every week or on the pay-per-views. Showcase mode is keeping with tradition. Not really too much improvements. Like, there's some improvements when it comes to the like presentation and stuff like that, by using video clips from the actual matches, and it feels alright. It feels like there is a little bit of improvement, but not as much as I was hoping. Some of the actual like mid-match objectives are kind of stale. Like, it could be like Irish whip your opponent in the ring. That's just kind of lame how that happens. But maybe next year we'll see some more improvements. It's not bad by any means. The My Career mode, much more fleshed out. It was very bare bones in 2K15, so it's great to actually have a My Career mode. There's choices that can be made. There's after match interviews with Renee Young, which I think is like really cool. Kind of helps you develop what kind of character you are, if you're going to be like a heel or a face. So that's great. There's still some minor things that I don't like about the My Career, like the fact that I can't climb to the top rope is just drives me insane. It's hard to make a high-flying superstar when it takes months of in-game My Career mode before you can climb to the top rope. But hey, whatever. My Universe, or the WWE Universe mode, feels good. Not too much, improvements that I've noticed, but I haven't really gotten too deep into it. So, I'll update you when I get a little deeper into that. But overall, feels like Universe mode definitely didn't break it or anything like that. Moving on to gameplay, there's a lot of new animations in this game, like idle animations, linking animations, like the animations that play in between moves to connect them and things, entrance, winning, weapon animations. Like, they really just went in and reworked all of the animations. The animations feel a lot more impactful, like moves feel impactful, which is something that's been lacking in the wrestling games. I find, like, back on the N64, they had, you know, moves where they were going in and altering it, you know, frame by frame, hand doing the animations, and they can make them just look devastating. And, you know, in the newer games, we kind of lost that. It kind of looked a little robotic. But the moves in 2K16 definitely look and feel like you can feel the impacts. And they reworked a lot of the animations. Like I said, the weapon animations totally redone. So it actually feels more impactful. They look different, so don't expect to see the same animations that you've been seeing years after year after year. They actually went in and you know, tweaked a lot of that stuff. The stamina system, still fantastic. It was a great improvement in 2K15. 2K16, it feels even better. It feels like you actually have a little bit more stamina. Like I found last year, you ran out of stamina so quick. And in this one, it feels a lot better paced, more stamina. It's got the working holds in this one, so you know you can get some stamina back while taking away stamina from your opponent. So it kind of adds this new strategy. Playing off strategy, the new reversal system, I think, is fantastic. It combined with the stamina is just amazing. Makes the match pacing so much more realistic and slower paced. Let's see, the camera work, I could still use some work. It's getting good with the move cameras and things like that, but when you go outside the ring, it still needs some work there. But the animations, camera work, everything is good there. Creative features, they're good. We got some returning modes. We got their create a title or create arena and create a show. We can make a diva, you know, so that's great. Plenty of new parts, new hair and beards. It's easy to import your face and logos. Still no creative finisher, so that's kind of disappointing. I really like to create a finisher, but overall, it's nice to see some returning favorites there. Definitely feels more complete, more than it did last year. But anyways, guys, overall, first impressions, very good. This is definitely feels like the game I wish we would have got last year. But there's still some improvements to be made. I'm definitely looking forward to next year's game because it's going to be hopefully perfect, and you know, we can improve from that. But this is a great game. So don't let that. You know, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This is fantastic. If you've been thinking, oh, I don't want to get a game because, you know, they sucked, go out and get this game. WWE 2K16 is actually very good. They made lots of improvements. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one. Later, guys.